You know, life gets in the way. It's hard to wage those things sometimes. Objectively, I should have come back. I wouldn't trade the last 30 days for anything. Yes, I'm on the hole for $5,000. I guess the moral of the story is don't be like me. How's it going, guys? It's a Peruvian trucker back with another video. Good morning. And I'm all packed up for a road trip. My friends are walking to the car right now. And I'm hoping the camera will pick this up. But we're ready to go. It's like 7:30 in the morning. We went to sleep at like midnight. But we're up. We're gonna have some fun. Let's go, guys. Well, guys, I have to apologize. As you can tell, I'm already back in the truck. I'm already running. I wasn't able to really record my home time, my road trip with my friends as much as I wanted to. Mainly out of respect to them, because I didn't want to just shove a camera on people's faces. But also because I wanted to enjoy the moment. I was on vacation, so I wanted to make the most of it. I did get a couple of clips, mainly Instagram stories, that I will be posting here and there throughout this video. A couple of things have been going on while I was on vacation, mainly the fact that Prime finally announced what's going on with the cameras, but that will be a subject for another video. Actually, the next video will be about that. With that being said, you read the title. I effectively took 30 days off, and I'm nearly $5,000 in the hole. About $4,900. While I was on vacation, some detention did kick in, which kept me below the $5,000 mark. But let me take you to the beginning. My 30-day vacation started when I went to San Francisco to pick up the car that I bought. The plan was to do that after the road trip with my friends, but I got a load that kept me in the Atlanta area, and I decided that it was best to just go to the McDonough yard and fly from Atlanta to San Francisco and pick up the car instead of running for 2 to 3 days to be back in the same place. I saw it as an opportunity to just get ahead on things. Basically, the dates for my road trip with my friends were already set. They already had plane tickets, so I was trying to figure out which was the most efficient way to take care of my personal stuff, mainly picking up the car and some commitments that I had in Fort Lauderdale. So because I was in Atlanta, I figured I could squeeze that in, fly to San Francisco, pick up the car, drop it off in Salt Lake City, and fly home before my real vacation started. And by doing that, I actually lost a plane ticket. I had already bought a plane ticket for April 25th or April 26th to fly to San Francisco and take care of that after my road trip. But it was the most efficient way to go, so I had to take that loss. So I made it to San Francisco. I picked up the car. Everything was fine there. I road tripped into Salt Lake City, stopped at Yosemite, had a blast. You can check the video in which I did those things. I flew home from Salt Lake City a couple of days before my friends arrived for the road trip because I had a couple of commitments that I had to meet. I took care of my personal stuff and then just waited for my friends to arrive. And that was going to be a 10-day road trip. A couple of things you should know, I guess, is that my friends had just gotten their driver's licenses, or their driver's license. I'm not sure which way you pronounce it, but it was their first time driving in America, and they had just literally acquired their licenses in Peru. So it was fun, I guess, for them to drive here. It was a little nerve-wracking for me at first because we drive a lot faster here than we do in Peru, and while I don't see it as an issue and I'm very used to it, they were not. But I eased them into it, let's just say that. Our first stop was in St. Augustine, Florida. We had a blast driving to St. Augustine. They both got a chance to drive. We walked around, sightseeing, looked at the boats in the harbor, and then we made our way to Savannah, Georgia. That was our true first stop for the night. I don't know if I've mentioned this in the past, but I love Savannah, Georgia. It's one of my favorite cities in the country. And I don't know that I'll ever live there, but I certainly wouldn't mind living there. It's just a small, like a beautiful small town by the river. I just love the architecture. I love walking around. There's a lot of coffee shops. There's the river walk, which has a lot of nice views, a couple of good restaurants, and there's also nice bars. So I really love Savannah. My friends hadn't been there before, so it was nice to show them around. We had a great time. We stayed there for 2 days. We had breakfast at Maple Street the first morning, and I guess if you've watched my channel in the past, you probably know that I love food and I love eating, and I really enjoy a good meal. My friends don't. For every meal that I would get, they would split a meal. So they made me feel like a fat ass most of the time. But that didn't stop me from enjoying really good food. And then we just walked around the city. We went to this retro gaming store that had a lot of like old school memorabilia, a lot of like Nintendo 64 games, Super Nintendo, NES. They also had a bunch of collectibles, and while we were there, I found something that I had to buy. And I rocked this hat for pretty much the rest of that first day in Savannah. It was wonderful to see people's reactions of me walking with the Luigi hat. I had a blast just doing that. That alone was worth the entire trip, and the cost of the hat, of course. After Savannah, we were supposed to go to Washington, D.C. We were going to meet with some friends in Washington, D.C. and, you know, just walk around the city, tourist around. But the friends we were going to meet with had an emergency and weren't able to make it. So we decided that instead of going to Washington, D.C., we were going to visit some of my friends' relatives in New Bern, North Carolina. This was my first time going to New Bern, and it was actually a pretty nice city. It's the place where they invented Pepsi, which I'm a Coke guy. I'm just going to say that. And if you've watched my videos in the past, that's been pretty evident. But I had a good time, you know. It never hurts to learn more history. And we walked around New Bern. We stayed there a couple days. And my friends had a good time catching up with their relatives. They hadn't seen them in a while. They live here. The relatives, and of course my friends live in Peru, so they don't get to see each other often. So it was nice to just take a break from road tripping and driving and just like settle down in New Bern for a couple days. And while we were in New Bern and my friends were catching up with their relatives, they were talking about family, and I got nostalgic. So while I was there, I made a spontaneous decision to go to Peru after my road trip with my friends. My parents were flying to Peru for my dad's birthday, and I had told them that I wasn't going to go because I needed to get back to work. But while I was in New Bern with my friends, I really got emotional and I made a spur of the moment decision. And I bought the ticket and I was in for the ride. So after being in New Bern with my friends' relatives, we went to Hickory, North Carolina, and then Asheville, North Carolina. I've driven by Asheville multiple times, but I've never actually explored the city, so that was pretty fun. We of course had an Airbnb, so we stayed there a couple days, and then we went to Atlanta on our way back to Florida. I also have been in Atlanta multiple times, but I never had the chance to go to the Porsche Experience Center, so I made sure to make a reservation to go there and check out the museum. And honestly, it was pretty fun. I definitely recommend it if any of you guys is ever in Atlanta and you get a day or two. It's worth making a reservation at the restaurant, Ubering there, and just, have a nice meal. And just by being at the restaurant, you get free access to the museum and free access to look over the track. So that was pretty nice. I actually enjoyed it a lot. I was really excited. So after having lunch at the Porsche Experience Center in Atlanta, it was time to head to Orlando, Florida. It was a 7-hour drive, but I was more than okay with making that drive. Again, I love driving, so we made that drive, and it was time for me to catch up with some of my friends. 2 of my best friends live in the Central Florida area, so we met in Orlando, and we had a blast for the night, and then the next day. And after that, it was just time to go home. So as you might imagine, I made it home on a high. I was really excited, really grateful, really happy. I spent the first half of my vacation going to San Francisco to pick up a car that I had just bought and road tripping into Salt Lake City. Then I flew home, met with my friends, and did this 10-day road trip through a lot of places that I love on the East Coast. And now it was time to fly to Peru. And nobody knew that I was going. As I mentioned, my parents were flying to Peru for my dad's birthday, and I had told them that I wasn't going to go because I had to go back to work. So they weren't expecting me to show up. And it was pretty great to surprise a couple of people. I'm just going to roll the clips because they speak for themselves.
Yeah. Era una sorpresa para ti, no para que te asustes.
Amor, ¿tú sabías?
No, no se sabía, es sorpresa.
¿Y tú? ¿Ya lo dio? ¡Ay!
¡Qué sorpresa!
¿Qué haces acá? ¿Cómo estás?
Ay, no vi la cara del rodo. Justo nos presenté al revés porque dije ahorita bien. Ayer ha venido. Ayer me la...
Anoche nos ha sorprendido, ni teníamos ni idea que venía.
Ayer me toca el timbre y me llama por teléfono. Perdón, me llama por teléfono. Me dice, tía, ¿por qué no me abren la puerta? Me dice. Y yo me quedé mirando la reja y digo...
Like, words cannot express how happy I was being there. It had been 5 years since I had been to Peru, since 2019. And, you know, life gets in the way. I've been caught up a lot with work. Before I got into trucking, just, you know, getting by in the car business. And, you know, of course, once I started trucking, the priority has been to, you know, be better financially. So I had been putting going to Peru aside. And honestly, I forget how much I love being there. I only stayed for 4 days, but probably the happiest 4 days I've had in the last 4 years. Like, I mean, you know, buying a car aside, being on a road trip with my friends, you know, I love all those things. But, like, you know, my family that I grew up with, you know, my uncles, my cousins, people that I hadn't seen in a while that, you know, were going to be there for my dad's birthday, which I would have missed if I would have stuck with going back to work, I guess. It's hard to wage those things sometimes. Objectively, I should have come back because, you know, I have goals. But you know, the experience of being there with my family, that's something that that can never be taken away from me. That joy that I felt, and I would have missed out on it. Probably, and there's a very high chance that moment will not be replicated. Like, there was no way to replicate that moment. It was my dad's 69th birthday, and you know, all these people got together for that specific occasion, and if I hadn't gone, if I didn't go, I would have missed out on it. So very grateful, very happy, very blessed. Again, the happiest 4 days that I've had in a while. Like, I mean, I love the fact that I bought a car, or the fact that I had a road trip with my friends, and I will be able to share those things with my family as well. But you know, just like my family from Peru is just like, it's the highest thing. But anyway, so I was there 4 days. I also met with some friends from high school, and then I flew straight back. 3 flights. Lima to Quito in Ecuador, and then from Ecuador to Miami, and then Miami to Atlanta. And at some point on that flight, I caught the flu. Oh, sorry, at some point on those flights, I don't know which, I caught the flu. And I've been sick for the last week. That's why I'm a little behind on videos. But I wouldn't trade the last 30 days for anything. Like, yes, I'm on the whole for $5,000. Man, like, the memories that I made in the last 30 days, like, don't even come close to that amount. Like, I mean, they're invaluable, if that's the right word. They have no, yeah. And you know, I've been running for about 10 days now, and I'm almost out of the hole. By the end of next week, those $5,000 will be more than covered, and I'll be able to make money again and just keep rolling. So, I guess the moral of the story is don't be like me, or be like me. Just know what you can handle, you know. Save your money, so when opportunities like this roll along, you can seize them, I guess. Like I mentioned, like I mean, I don't want to be redundant, but I'm so happy with the last 30 days. Like, I always say that 2022 was probably one of the most important years of my life because it's the year that I switched careers into trucking. But 2024 is shaping up to be a really good year as well. It's not the best year financially. The market has been really low, but I cleared my debt in 2023, which set me up to be well or good enough financially in 2024 and take in the experiences that I'm taking in. And we're not even halfway through 2024. There's still another 7 months to make other things happen. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'm still making money. Yes, it is a down market, but yes, the market is not great. Yes, it is an election year. Yes, I'm still in the hole. But because of the decisions that I've made that have led me to this point in my life, including the 30 days that I took of vacation, 2024 still has a lot of potential for me. And I'm excited with what's coming and with knowing that I can share it not only with my loved ones, but with you guys. So I'm just going to leave it at that. The next video is going to be me talking about the cameras. So be on the lookout for that. And I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.
Hey.